things out there that might work a little better than, or something else. Me sitting in the back of the class really isn't helping because I have bad eyesight, something like that. That maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't be comfortable walking up to you and saying, hey, don't do blank, it makes me uncomfortable or something. So a lot of it, if you shake your head and think, well, listen, if I ask my kids, what would you do about education? Or if I ask my students, what would you do to improve your educational experience? I'll hear one thing, give us less homework. But you'll find many examples of really dedicated students, like Maya Mason and Riley Harris, who I asked on Facebook, how do you value teachers? What are qualities you love to see in your teachers? And Maya said this: my favorite teachers had a good sense of humor. This is actually really relevant because yesterday I was in Jim Winter's session about humor. My favorite teachers had a good sense of humor, made the material relevant and engaging, and therefore made me want to go to class, and were obviously very well informed about the material. The best teachers also pose a challenge to their students. They're reasonable in terms of tests, homework, etc., but they don't give ridiculously easy homework. There has to be a substantial challenge to the work. Some of you who might have thought, oh, all they're going to say is give us less homework, you'll see that Maya is not about give us less homework, give us easy homework. It's give us smarter homework, or give us challenging homework. And sure, you might already be going in that direction. It's probably not anything that you disagree with. But hearing this kind of feedback allows you to realize, wow, students are just as invested in their educational development as I am. And this was an interesting one about how we measure. The reason I was asking this question on Facebook was because I just read an article about the controversy of evaluating teachers. And Riley said this: good teachers offer engaging and informative content, so again, the engagement, while maintaining mutual respect between him or herself and his or her students. Accomplishing that harmony sounds easy enough, but with such variance in students' learning needs and personal interests, the balance is seldom achieved of any teacher. Therefore, the worth of the teacher is almost entirely dependent on the audience they're teaching. And I thought that was a really interesting last time because I see it happening where you can have a teacher who might be the most engaging, most informative, most enthusiastic person in the world, but if the students are very non-enthusiastic, the students are kind of, really don't want to learn about the subject, and then you go to another class where the teacher might not be so enthusiastic, but the students are very enthusiastic, then who's to say who the better teacher is? So it really made me think. It made me go off in different directions and think, what is this teacher evaluation? Hearing these student points of view not only made me reflect, it also got them thinking about their educational experience, going off in different directions. And I think that these are answers that it would be great to hear more of. Whether you agree with these diverse points of view or not, there are valuable discussions just waiting to get started. I rarely see school districts going out on a big level and getting student input involved, but our collective student voice is a resource that should be tapped into. When you think about it, when you go to a restaurant, sometimes they'll give you a little survey about how satisfied you were with your dining experience. Most businesses once in a while give customers a satisfaction survey. But how often do students get asked about their educational experience in forums or discussions? So select a group of students. Maybe when you go out to your school district, here are some students who I think have some really interesting insights to share on education. Get a group together and say, hey, we're going to have a discussion. There will be some serious questions about education. This not only gives you insights into how is education serving its customers, it also makes your students feel heard and listened to. And you never know, it might lead to positive changes in the classroom if someone tells you an insight that you wouldn't have thought of, or gives you a critique that you're like, wow, that's really useful, then it can have positive results for everyone. Utilizing existing technology, learning across mediums, flipped classrooms and blended learning, learning from your students, students using technology for content creation, making student voice heard in your classroom, school district. I know that we've covered a lot of topics today, but if there's just one thing you walk away with, hopefully not the silverware. That was a really bad joke, I'm sorry, but I just love how serious speakers get. There's just one thing you walk away with. If there is just one thing that you walk away with, I seriously hope that it's this. Teaching and learning is a two-way street. But unlike on the real street, there's no driver's age requirement. Pretty much every single one of you stood up when I asked, do you think that you can learn from your students? And I was really exhilarated to see that kind of response. Because quite honestly, I think that at least 1, 2, 3 people in your class, in your school, are going to become the teachers of tomorrow. And so by giving them a chance by giving every student a chance to make their voice heard, to engage with learning on multiple mediums, to teach you as well as teach our peers and learn. I think that we can make education way funner for everybody. And I think that it's true to say that no matter what side of the classroom you come from, it's valuable to think, what can I take from the other side? If you're a student, obviously realizing what can you learn from the teacher. If you're a teacher, obviously realizing what can I learn from the other side. I believe that it is only when we know how to learn that we really know how to teach. Thank you. I really appreciate your attention. It's an amazing honor to be speaking here at the ASCD conference, and I just wanted to note that going to this conference has been a wonderful experience for me, not just because of being able to speak here, but also because I've gone to sessions, really enjoyed cruising the bookstore, so I know that I'll be having a lot of fun watching sessions today and buying up every single $5 book. Don't worry, as far as like, I'll be purchasing regular price ones.
Thank you so much, Adora. Please join me one more time in thanking Adora. You gave us some really good things to think about and taught me quite a bit. I had not been informed about the flipped classroom, so it's very interesting to hear that.
I actually found out about it, I believe, in an issue of Educational Learning, so.
There we go. Educational Nation. Great. Well, I think I can speak for, speak for everyone that we appreciate you. It takes a lot to stand here before thousands of people and share information that's very valuable for us in our profession. And your insights of what we can do, what does a student want and need? Because we're so used to being on this side of the table and we know what's right, so we think. But it's always good to listen to the student voice. That is the voice that is usually missing, but is most apparent because, as you said, when do we ever ask students for the feedback about how we are teaching in the classroom? Are we making the connection with you, the student, that we really think that's what we want to do? That's really our goal. And if we don't reach it, it's not always the student's fault.
Yes, and I think that also, a lot of students, some of you who have told your students about going off to an education conference, students are like, oh, that's that place where teachers go, when they have sort of generalized idea, but if you go and you tell your students 15 minutes, say, I go to an education conference because I want to learn about how to engage you, how to get you interested, show that you're really, what these education conferences are all about. I think students would be interested to hear and realize also, wow, my teachers are really taking a lot of time to help me in my learning. That's something that I love knowing whenever I go to these conferences and realizing, wow, teachers are amazing, wonderful people who always have students at heart.
And we do, don't we? So thank you so very much. We do appreciate your time and energy.